It's here, Mitches and Mitchettes! After too many years, Baywatching and Baywatching Nights has finally come to this. The shark officially has been jumped, and it's all out of Jill's to eat. We're in the deep end now, because it's time for Baywatch Nights, the X-Files edition.
Who will survive the terror of the deep?
We can't go out the way we came in. Whatever's down here is not gonna let us.
On the next nights. Baywatch Nights.
I did an entire, excellently crafted video all about how this version of the show came to be. But to sum things up, ratings were bad, X-Files was popular, so now Mitch fights monsters. No, we will never find out why, not even a single throwaway line. This is just how things are now. I want to note also that the air dates are a mystery to me. IMDb has wildly different dates for these episodes than the German box set I have, and a slightly different episode order. Since I don't know which is more accurate, I'm going to review them in the order listed on IMDb, but swap out the episodes to match the box set. Makes sense? Me neither. So here's some other, less wild, but still notable changes to the show. First off, it has a new kick-ass saxophone theme by Alfonso Blackwell. It is called The Nights Will Never Be the Same. Hell yeah! When will the theme song play in an episode? Well, the show doesn't really have cold opens anymore, so much as they have cold opening acts. Maybe, or whenever. Could be near the start, could be in the middle somewhere. It's a fun little game you get to play as to when they try to jump scare ya. Used to be, long TV intros doubled as summaries for a new audience that let you know the vibe of the show, but Baywatch Night says fuck that, we're like hockey or something. This season saw the addition of Maurice Hurley as an executive producer. That's fitting because Baywatch Nights is often compared to Star Trek, and something Baywatch needed more of was sexism. I mean, he's probably the least of the show's problems by this point, but when he becomes an executive producer during the first season of Baywatch Hawaii, things are gonna get creepy. As previously noted, Garner has been written out of the show, and unless I'm forgetting something, I do believe that isn't explained until his appearance in the series finale. Donna and Griff are still in the cast, now having even less of a reason to be here than when it was just a detective show. And I'm happy to report that the newest character added to the roster is Diamant Teague, played by none other than Dorian Gregory. In this series, I do want to know. Anyone who's familiar with my Charmed retrospectives will know that I love me some Daryl, so it's delightful to see Dorian Gregory starring in this absolute mess. Diamant Teague is their Walter Skinner of sorts, for lack of a better comparison. He tells them what assignments to go on and is saddled with just the worst info dumps. He likes to speak cryptically for absolutely no reason. Teague is, astoundingly, never given any sort of explanation or backstory. We don't know who he works for, if he is in fact working for anyone, how Mitch and Ryan came to know him, why they follow his orders, why he needed a former lifeguard/PI for these particular assignments, or what he even wants. This is pure art, people. I like to headcanon that the time Dorian Gregory played an extra on season 2 of normal Baywatch was actually Teague undercover looking to recruit Mitch. And seeing as how that's the first part he played listed on IMDb, it's only fitting that Baywatch Nights was his first starring role. And for the Baywatch Nights folks, it helps that he was probably very cheap to hire. So let's talk about Dorian Gregory a little bit. Did you know he was the last permanent host of Soul Train? Did you know Soul Train was even airing in 2006? And circling back to Star Trek, guess who also showed up on Next Generation in an episode conceived by Maurice Hurley? It's not listed on IMDb, but I know a Daryl when I see one. In his personal life, he's been involved with a ton of programs and events in support of people of color in various areas of the arts, the Jeopardy program, AIDS Project Los Angeles, and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And as someone diagnosed with diabetes when he was 9, he works as a motivational speaker about it. In addition to all of that, he's a musician, poet, screenwriter, and part-time owner of my heart.
2 pops to the head, 2 leprechauns dead. They stole my mama's gold, so I got my mama's gun. I had the little green man on the run. Over hill, over dale, overseas, over roads.
Apparently he hunts leprechauns in his spare time? Anyway, I think he's an awesome guy. Also, I'm dreading actually talking about this episode. This is one of just 2 night stories directed by Gregory Bonan, and it's called Terror of the Deep. Pretty spooky, huh, folks? Speaking of Gregory Bonan, here's his girlfriend apparently. To start things off, she and Mitch find a character simply credited as Woman in the Ocean.
It's a woman.
Look familiar? You might remember her as Mariko's mom in Code of Silence. Wow, she's moving on up. Also, cannot understate how much adding spooky tones to Mitch Buchanan on a rescue is the opposite of unsettling or atmospheric. Mitch and the rando lifeguard revive the woman, and she's super freaked out about something. But that's not Mitch's problem.
Got everything you need, Mitch?
Oh, come on now. You just told us Donna sold Nights in the season 7 premiere.
Isn't Donna the owner of Nights?
Actually, she's the former owner.
I don't really work here anymore. I just like to play pretend sometimes.
Okay, guys, are you ready for Teague's fascinating introduction? Well, here's all you need to know.
Your friend is here again. What's his name?
Diamante.
He drinks champagne on the Champs-Elysees. Always has interesting things for you to investigate. Has he ever told you what he really wants?
No.
Cool, well, I think all my questions are answered. Here's my takeaway from this exchange. Donna is aware Mitch has a new friend that sends him on cases, and I guess at some point she was told about his various world travels. He drinks champagne, so he's either rich or likes to pretend he's fancy. Mitch doesn't know what his goals are, but does these cases anyway, either because he was hired out or as a favor to a friend, who he doesn't seem to care about or like that much. It's not clear if calling him a friend was sarcasm or not. The audience is asked to follow along as we dive into the supernatural on fucking Baywatch Nights, and our first scene talking about Teague features Mitch barely giving a shit. I hope you aren't too bothered by this, because that's going to be Mitch's mode for the next 22 episodes. Enjoy!
The other day you were talking about past lives. I thought you might like that book.
Wait, so they're apparently on good enough terms to be giving book gifts and talk about past lives, but Donna doesn't even remember his name?
I don't know how you knew it, but as a matter of fact, yes, I would.
He knew it because you were talking to him about past lives. It ain't that mysterious, Donna.
Thank you.
Interaction complete. Mitch is all huffy about something. For some reason, who will ever know? But Teague ain't got time for that. He is a man who gets straight to the point. There isn't a jogan on the loose. What isn't a jogan, you ask? Well, I hope you've had your bathroom break, because this is gonna be a long, boring sit.
Every culture has one. A legendary creature which is the embodiment of all that is evil. The Ajogun is from New Guinea, the fiercest creature from the fiercest culture on the planet. Boats would be found adrift near the mouth of the river. No crew.
Where are you going with this?
Okay, so this is very typical Baywatch Nights from now on. Teague just sort of nonchalantly throws out the most insane shit in the world, while Mitch gets progressively annoyed. Imagine someone out there was a big Baywatch fan, so they watched Baywatch Nights, but they didn't know about the genre shift. This very conversation would be their first time realizing this was now about the supernatural. It's not exciting, it's not intriguing, the overwhelming feeling is confusion. Like, at least give us something in the second pilot that anyone's ever heard of? In a Jogan? I looked up a Jogan, by the way, and there's varying definitions, but the common theme seems to be a general term for evil spirits. In Africa, mostly, but New Guinea does come up, and not just on sites talking about Baywatch Nights. It seems to be a thing, although I can't really vouch for the accuracy regarding boats, or if it's really the fiercest creature from the fiercest culture on the planet. To make a long story short, the woman Mitch rescued kept repeating the word Ajogan, so Teague thinks it sunk her ship. The only problem with this theory is that the ship he's talking about sunk 3 weeks ago.
It sank 3 weeks ago.
If you're waiting for a reason why she survived that long, you will never get it. It seems to be a separate issue from the whole Ajogan thing.
And a Jogan, huh? Sounds like a real snooze job. Better call in the D-team. Griff, get over here. As a photographer, you are integral to this mission.
I'm Griff! Mitch thinks this is all a bunch of bullshit, but if that one woman survived, other people might have too.
I don't believe in the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny. I'm not buying some New Guinea boogeyman off Catalina.
But for some reason, I continue to take your cases anyway. What is our relationship?
Might be others trapped on board, and that's where to look.
Mitch might technically be the Scully as the skeptic of the team, but Ryan is the lady, so she's gonna do the Scully captain's logs.
This is a supplemental log for the Argos Z. The date is September 11th.
Hey, question, where did they get this equipment? Was this supplied by Teague? He does seem to be rich. Maybe. Anyway, it's a good thing they've added a lot of lines in post when characters are off screen, or this episode might come off so slow that time is going backwards. Apropos of nothing, here's 5 straight fucking minutes of diving footage. Mitch and Griff are now inside the wreckage looking for more survivors, and I guess if there's time, in a Jogan. Actually, that's not true. Mitch is looking for survivors, Griff is just there for funsies, and nobody except Teague cares if there's an Ajogan. Teague, meanwhile, is off doing Teague stuff. But oh shit, it's that damn Ajogan. You know how Ajogans do, just waiting for the perfect lifeguard/PI snack. Well, here's your first Baywatch Nights monster, folks. Impressed? A spooky, scary skeleton! They're pulling out all the stops! But for some reason, Mitch doesn't seem to think it's weird that there's a whole-ass skeleton picked clean in a ship that sunk 3 weeks ago. And look, even if you don't believe there's an Ajogan, they found a diver's body down there, so there has to be something dangerous hanging around. I'm Griff! See? Yeah, just let Griff go during the commercial break. Convenient. You know, if you aren't gonna show Griff being eaten down to a skeleton, I don't even know why I even bothered with this episode.
We can't go out the way we came in. Whatever's down here is not gonna let us.
What? You don't know that. You're just pulling stuff out of your butt. This Ajogan seems very easily escapable. Also, they made a smart decision to not show us a lot of this creature, but is it just a dude in a pirate outfit? There's also venom in its bite, apparently. The more I see of this episode, the more I think the woman was just speaking metaphorically about Ajogans, and this is just some generic sea monster.
What was that?
So, where was that in relation to them? If you're beginning to suspect that 2/3 of this episode is just Mitch and Griff wandering around in a sunken ship, you are unfortunately correct. They're looking for a specific part of the ship to get out of, and it all seems impossible. But they have to make it there. They have to! Griff is dying from Ajogan venom. The Coast Guard won't make it in time. Anyway, I bring this up because that part of the plot is dropped and doesn't go anywhere. You could create Chekhov's armory with the amount of things they set up in this episode and then never bring up again. But what about the monster? Can Ryan help them out with the assistance of the World Wide Web?
Well, Teague was right. It is an Ajogan.
Oh, cool.
It's sort of the Bigfoot of New Guinea.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, so the skeleton they found had a necklace, and that leads Ryan back to when the ship stopped by New Guinea and they apparently killed an Ajogan. Seems like you wouldn't need the necklace to look at the history of the ship and see that they killed the very thing you guys suspect is on board. Ryan also says the necklace belongs to the Ajogan for reasons unexplained, and it doesn't relate to anything and is never brought up again. I also don't know what the second Ajogan has to do with anything either. However, Mitch is inspired by them killing the shit out of that other Ajogan to he himself kill the shit out of this one.
Burn out all O2. Suffocate it.
Oh, so they didn't so much suffocate it as blow it up.
Keep an eye out for you, Stingray.
Yeah. See ya.
Huh. Really makes you think about how sacred life is. Oh well.
Anyway, after spending all of that time looking for a way out because Griff was dying or something, they remember they were looking for survivors and decide to wander around very slowly again. The audience gradually withers away into dust. Hooray! Mitch was right for some reason! Let's get the hell off of this ship!
We use that canvas. Make a lift bag.
If you can blow that bilge, you're clear to the surface. The lift bag will bring you straight up.
Hang on!
Forget the lift bag, Mitch. The Coast Guard's here.
Then why did you set it up, Baywatch Nights?
Final supplemental log for the Argos Zed. 2 surviving children reunited with their mother after 3.5 weeks, escaping the Ajogan. File closed.
Let's just get this out really quick and we're done here.
Melee woman's gonna be fine. So's Griff. Pretty heroic thing she did for her kids.
What? She didn't do anything for her kids. She left them for dead on a ship with an Ajogan, and then you begrudgingly went down there on a hunch. Champagne?
Whatever I saw, I am forever changed. Nights can never be the same now that I know the dark things that live in the shadows. Is there a heaven or a hell? And if so, what kind of god would create such a twisted, evil thing? Or perhaps it was simply a beast, and by killing it, we have become the monsters. What have I done? Dear God, what have I done?
Next time on Baywatch, Mitch judges a swimsuit pageant. Meanwhile, Cody invented a boat. Hooray!